In the last few days, we've been seeing a shortage of vegetables and fruit in supermarkets with many shelves empty or um, supermarkets restricting how many of each item you can buy. Um, Sales of some fruit and vegetable have been limited by most of the country's largest supermarkets, Tesco, Asda, Aldi, and Morrisons. The UK government has said it's largely down to bad weather in Europe and Africa. There's also the impact high electricity prices are having on produce grown in greenhouses in the UK and the Netherlands. The UK's largest supermarket, Tesco, and discounter Aldi said they have been putting limits of 3 per customer on sales of tomatoes, peppers, and cucumbers, as does cap sales of lettuces, salad bags, broccoli, cauliflowers, and raspberry punnets to 3 per customer, along with tomatoes, peppers, and cucumbers. And Morrison's has set limits of 2 on cucumbers, tomatoes, lettuces, and peppers. Tomatoes and peppers seem to be the worst affected, but it's not clear whether it's because they're popular or because of the shortage. Other major supermarkets have also been hit by the shortage but have not yet introduced limits for customers. Former Sainsbury's chief executive Justin King told BBC that limits were being put in place to prevent other retailers buying stock. That I find quite silly, because if Sainsbury's is saying this, why would Tesco, Aldi, Morrison's, Asda, or any of the other supermarkets, why would they buy from Sainsbury's? Like they're too big of a supermarket to go to these supermarkets and buy whatever they're able to and then leave. I'm sure they've got other ways of buying it, but nevertheless, that's their excuse. In the winter months, the UK imports around 95% of its tomatoes and 90% of its lettuces, most of them from Spain and North Africa, according to trade group the British Retail Consortium. But southern Spain has been suffering unusually cold weather, and in Morocco, crop yields have been affected by floods, while storms have caused ferries to be delayed or cancelled. It led to Morocco barring exports of tomatoes, onions, and tomatoes to West African countries earlier this month as it tried to protect exports to Europe. This I don't see as a good thing. Like, why prioritize certain countries over other countries? I'm guessing it's money involved. That's why they're doing so. But everyone should be considered. And also, it seems like to me that people are buying things like this more now, also because of the cost of living and things like inflation as well. So people are, I'm guessing, they're cooking more at home or things like this. So they're buying fresh ingredients from the supermarket instead of takeaway or something like that. That I feel that is also leading to the shortage. But like they mentioned, in Morocco and Spain and other parts, the weather has contributed. However, I feel some of it's being made to look like it's worse than it is. Many supermarkets, they seem to be fairly well stocked. I've been to a few. They at different times they seem okay. Maybe it's just a precaution. So if it does, to prevent it from getting any worse. But I don't see it being. People are saying it's gonna last until April, May, June. But I don't think it will last that long. And if it does last that long, then I don't see it affecting the UK too much. Because let's face it, lettuce and cucumber is not like a main ingredient in the diet of people in the UK. Cabbage and tomatoes similarly, and also tomatoes. Many people tend to use tin tomatoes, tomato paste, or things like this instead of actual tomatoes. So I feel UK will be fine. But I also say that I'd expect more of this, and also with other vegetables and fruit to happen in the future, because of the economic situation as well as cost of living and other things. Things will like this will happen, and I think it's going to be normal that people will be forced to only take 2 or 3 per person of certain fruits and vegetables, and I feel like it's going to be like this all year round for a lot of the vegetables and fruits for the next few years. But I don't feel the everyday customer will be affected too much because the reasons I just mentioned.